Okay, so I've been training for this ultra marathon, and recently, in the past couple of days, I've actually been getting a lot of left knee pain, and I'm going to take you through how I get rid of this knee pain with trigger point therapy, direct stretching, and some strength training as well. The knee pain can be in a lot of different areas. Mine is actually on the top of the knee, kind of in line with the patellar tendon and directly on the kneecap itself. So that means I really need to target the top muscles of the quad and not really the other muscles that could be involved in knee pain. You'll know which area to target based off of where your knee pain is. So if your knee pain is in the top, like I was talking about, on the kneecap or a little bit below or even a little bit above, you're going to target the quad mainly. If your knee pain is on the outside of your leg, you're going to think lateral quad and potentially even IT band, which is controlled by your TFL, which we'll go over in a little bit. And if your pain is on the inside or medial part of the knee, we're going to talk about your adductors and your medial quad as well. Other areas that could be painful around the knee are in the back, which could be a lot of different issues. That could be your hamstrings, your upper calf, or your popliteal muscle, which is the muscle that helps you lock out your leg and unlock it. And that's a little sensitive, so we'll touch on that at the end. All right, so I'll try and make this quick. So for the quad trigger pointing, I'm going to use a softball. Any massage ball that's a little bit larger than the size of a lacrosse ball will work really well. And there's three main compartments. You've got your outside, middle, and inside quad compartments, basically. For me, since my pain is on top of the kneecap and a little bit below, I'm really just targeting this main area, but these others will have some play in it, so I will touch on those too. And all I'm going to do is go side to side as I roll up the muscle, and then I'll switch compartments to the middle, do the same thing, and I'll do the same thing on the medial quad. And that's to loosen it up. That's to tell you where the main pain is, and then you can do more targeted stuff there after you've gone up and down. You can go back to the spots that hurt the most and lay on them and just kind of hold pressure there. Let the muscle fidget a little bit. A lot of times you'll get a local twitch response. That's a good thing. You'll literally feel the muscle kind of twitching. That means that through the pressure that you're applying, it's teaching the muscle to react properly again. After you do that, we're going to stretch it immediately after, and then we can talk about strength training at the end. If you have your pain on the outside of your leg, we're going to do the same thing that we just talked about, which is go up and down the muscle side to side as you kind of roll, making sure not to go too far to the side so you're on your IT band. You really want to stay on that lateral quad. And then the other thing would be your TFL muscle, which is that little muscle that pops out at the top of your hip. It's technically a hip flexor muscle, but it also deals with some rotation of the leg at the hip. And how to trigger point that is you can use either ball. I tend to use the larger ball. And what you're going to do is have your leg bend as you lay kind of on your side, slightly rotated with your chest towards the ground. Since your leg is bent, that'll put your hip flexor area and your TFL into a lax position, which will allow you to roll back and forth on it really well and apply pressure to that area. I've seen amazing results from people just trigger pointing their TFL and then doing a quick little stretch and just basically getting cured pretty quickly. There's also some active release techniques that I do love to use, which we'll touch on after we talk about the medial knee pain. So that's going to be your medial quad, which again, same thing. We're going to go back and forth on that medial quad, up and down, find the spots. When you find a spot that's more sensitive than others, you lay on it 30 to 60 seconds and let yourself just relax. Additionally, you're going to want to take a foam roller and roll along your adductors. This is super important because your adductors connect your groin to the knee, kind of. Some of them insert on the femur, but some of them also go all the way beyond the knee, and that can also add to tension in the knee. So if you have some medial pain, you'll want to do that. It's hard to use a massage ball. You can, but it's a very sensitive area, so I would suggest starting with a foam roller first. All right, so now if your pain is on the back of your knee, you're going to want to target your hamstrings and upper calf. For the upper calf, I like either a lacrosse ball or a large softball type massage ball. Same idea, back and forth along that muscle, applying pressure, finding the spots that is the most sensitive. For the hamstrings, you have to do something a little bit different. You need something to sit up on, that way your legs can dangle. Then you're going to use a lacrosse ball and put it directly under the two areas, which is your lateral hamstring or your medial hamstring. There's three muscles, but there's really two lanes that you can think about, and you're just going to do the same thing where you strum like a guitar up and down the muscle, finding that sensitive area, which will probably be closer to your knee than further away. That's where the meat of the hamstring really is. And then once you find a spot, as always, you're going to sit on it for 30 to 60 seconds, and then you can move on to another spot. So now that you know all of the different areas of the knee that can hurt and which muscles to target with that, we can talk about the active release techniques that we can use. Active release techniques are basically just a fancy way of saying you're going to stretch the muscle while you trigger point it. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to take the lacrosse ball, put it under the hamstring where I have a sensitive spot, apply pressure down gently, not going beyond a 6 or 7 out of 10, and then I'm going to extend the leg, which will force that hamstring to stretch as I do the trigger point. It's a great way to combo stretching and trigger point therapy to get the most out of it. And the beauty of the active release technique is that you can do it on basically any muscle. So right now I'm on top of the quad and I'm pulling the leg up to stretch the quad. I'm on a trigger point right now because I can feel the tension built up, and I'm just pulling and I can feel the muscle stretching underneath it. And you can make a lot of progress a lot faster by doing this. All right, now to stretch the quad, this is very basic. There's many different ways to do this, but you can just do a basic lean forward, one leg up, one leg down, making sure that the legs are facing forward and you're not twisting or turning anything. From there, I like to do a balancing quad stretch. This is my favorite stretch, and I can already feel the tension in that quad right now. So basically all I'm doing is holding that leg up behind me, trying to stay tall, keeping the hips rotated underneath me and core engaged. As I pull the quad towards me, feel the tension. And then I'll introduce some PNF stretching, which is basically, I'm going to pretend like I'm kicking my foot away for 5 to 10 seconds. And then after I'm done with that, I'll relax and pull the quad muscle in a little bit more. This will allow me to get a little bit deeper into the stretch and work through that combo really well of trigger pointing, then stretching. It's really helpful. If your pain is on the inside or outside of the knee, you can turn slightly to then lean forward to target the inside of the leg a little bit more, getting that medial quad muscle. And it's a little bit trickier, but turning away slightly, try and target that outer quad a little bit more. But the trick with that is you want to make sure you're doing it without pulling your leg in or out too much. You want the whole thing to rotate together, not torque the knee. The final variation of a quad stretch that I really like is just doing a couch stretch. So you can do that against any wall or couch, anywhere really that you have a wall. And all you're doing there is putting your leg up like this, moving your foot out and just standing up. I like having pads underneath my knees so that I don't have a new knee problem of pain from that. And I really like to think about keeping the hips engaged and the core engaged. Otherwise, the quads won't get the full stretch. If your pain is on the back of the knee, I like a normal hamstring stretch here. You can take your feet and curl them up towards you to get a little bit more stretch through the calf and hamstring at the same time. A little bit more knee bend will bring this stretch a little bit further back in the leg. And you can target your outer hamstring or inner hamstring by rotating. So rotating the foot out, we'll get the outside hamstring. Rotating the foot in, we'll get that inside hamstring. So you can switch it up like that. And last but not least, you have your adductor stretch. This is for that inside knee pain. You can just put one leg out to the side. This is the frog stretch with one leg extended out. And I feel that immediately already. So I know these muscles are tight, and what you can do is you can sit back slightly to change the stretch. You can lean forward. You can try and kind of feel the pressure by pushing down a little bit, using your leg muscles to push in and then relaxing as well. The adductors have a lot of different ways you can stretch it. That one's the most effective. You can also do a butterfly stretch or a middle split. All of those stretches can help, and if you need more resources, you can check out my website where I have a deep dive on every single body part and how to stretch them the best. Okay, so now we can finally put it all together. Trigger pointing and stretching are important, but equally important is going to be the strength training that you do to build the mobility around it. This channel is mostly focused on trigger point therapy, stretching, and mobility, so I'm not going to go into super great detail about the strength training, but I will not leave you high and dry. So take a look at the Knees Over Toes guy. I have no affiliation with him. All of his exercises are available for free on his YouTube channel. He talks about the progressions that you have there and how to grow over time. In another video, I will go over the mobility aspect of all of this, and I will cover a lot of the exercises that he talks about. But until then, check out the Knees Over Toes guy. If you want direct access to me, check out the description below, and I hope this helps. Bye.